Welcome to the virtual couch. Please take a seat. For pillars, emotional maturity, and for pillars, want a treat.
It's being recorded. You know what they say about your eye itching?
You're a human, so check that out.
I don't either.
You don't know.
That's your opening joke?
No, I'm going to edit that out.
Prepare.
I don't.
What are we doing here?
Welcome back. It's been a long time.
I don't even want to. I haven't even looked because I think it's been longer than I think it has, and I don't want to feel that that sense of failure.
Oh, it is not failure, Mackie. Welcome back to episode 75 of the virtual couch and episode 16 of the Mind, the Mirror, and Me.
Exactly.
I'm your host. No, if we're on the virtual couch, yeah, it depends. Dueling hosts. But it's been a while. We're broadcasting from a new location.
Mm-hmm. We got both our mics working.
Yeah, that's kind of exciting. Both of our mics are working, and we are in Arizona, and you may hear dogs and or a baby right outside the office door.
Try to figure out which one is which.
Um,
I do that.
I was gonna say this is going to be your show. You prepared some things. You posted an amazing post yesterday on the social medias, and I felt bad because you said, "Oh, did you see the post?" And
You said no.
I've kind of
Absolutely no.
I don't go to the social media very often, but yet that's
really good. I wish I was better.
Well, I'm not saying it like getting a getting a trophy, a hero sandwich or a gold star or a trophy. You know what a hero sandwich is?
No.
Don't you really?
Like, no, I'm a kid.
Yeah, I know. I know it's a sandwich. I don't know what it is. Do you want to look at the? Do we look at the camera or do we look at each other?
I don't know.
I don't either. It has been a little while. But we moved to Arizona, 3 months ago?
Something like that.
And I have been negligent in my own consistency of podcasting. I've talked about that. I put out an episode or two of all the different ones, Virtual Couch, Wake Up Narcissism, Love ADHD. And we haven't put one of these out, but I've been so inconsistent, and I always like to pride myself on consistency.
But you're always yelling at me about it.
Screaming at the top of my lungs. So I've been poking you for quite a while saying, "Hey, do you want to do a podcast?" You're like, "Get out of here, old man."
Alone.
Right. And then finally you're ready to, but we started with I'm not trying to say I'm so cool, I don't go on social media. I get a weird vibe. Here I am talking about dealing with discomfort and stuff, but then I don't know. I think I get a little uncomfortable with thinking I should be doing more or better. But then I missed a really cool post of yours. Talk about that. That's a good way to lead it in. What was it?
Hurt my feelings.
I
kept checking to see if
I'm sorry you feel that way.
We're not doing that. No, it was a post about my disease.
You know what? Didn't we record one?
We recorded one. I don't think we ever put it.
No, it's one of the lost episodes when you found out about your disease.
Yeah, I'm diseased, but I'm okay. Maybe.
Tell us about this disease. Tell us. Yeah.
Back it up. Okay, you're just diving.
I've done my work. Now it's up to you. You carry it.
If people have listened to our previous episodes, we put one out. Could not tell you how long ago. That was called "Your Body is the Least Interesting Thing About You."
Yeah. The overall concept was what? Your body is the least interesting thing about you. Is that what we're doing?
No, but we talked about. I went there and listened to it because I honestly couldn't remember what we talked about, and I was scared that then I would say things today that would just completely contradict and be like, that actually doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But we basically just talked about your body being the least interesting thing about you.
Okay.
But we talked about like your worth not being tied to your physical appearance.
I remember this.
Your size, your shape, that you're more than your body. And we talked about just like being true to who you are on the inside. If you remember, like we talked a lot about how in high school, I feel like I wouldn't answer questions truthfully because I was too like, my favorite food because I was embarrassed or my favorite, like we talked about that, like just being who you are.
Yeah. I know that this one did pretty well because I had people telling me, is that one the one where we talked about?
Like, good dude.
Is that the one where we talked about the like going to a movie and worrying what the other person? Yeah. So that one I talked about a lot. Yeah.
That was that one. So if you haven't listened to it, listen to it. I liked it.
Me too.
I feel like it was one of our good ones. But basically the gist was just like about loving yourself and that your worth is not tied to anything, but especially your body. That you are enough.
Yeah.
Blah, blah. You kept throwing in you are enough.
Oh, Knuff.
Enough, because we were talking Barbie movies.
That's so funny. At the time, I thought I'll never stop saying Knuff. And when you just said that, I'm like, why did I say that?
What does that even mean?
Cave, I almost want you to like get to the part where why is it so significant now that we're talking about it and this post on the social medias and all that?
Yeah, so I can. So everything, genuinely, I did go back and listen to, and everything I said in that episode and that you said in that episode still stands true. I still stand by it 100%.
Okay.
Like everything we said was legit.
Yeah.
But since then, I have lost 55 pounds.
I was going to say, let's do a drum roll.
Oh, sorry.
55 pounds.
5 pounds.
That's like both our dogs combined and a sack of flour or something.
I've lost that.
Yeah. I found it, everybody. Thank you.
So my body looks a lot different and I feel a lot different than I did when I was talking about that, which for whatever reason then just feels like I feel like I have a lot of new thoughts and new perspectives about everything that has to do with all of this. So I want to talk about it, but also because we kind of like accidentally scrapped that disease.
Yeah. Nobody knows why.
Nobody knows. And so I feel like I want to hit that too. And I did, when I posted what I posted yesterday, I asked, or I put a little question box up if anyone has any questions, because I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of people about the weight loss journey and the health stuff and whatever. So,
and you showed me you got a lot. I was impressed.
Because everyone struggles.
Yeah.
With all the things all the time.
Yeah.
And when you're vulnerable, people
they respond
and it's tender and nice.
Yeah. But so if I'm hearing you correctly though, and I think I'm excited to hear this because as your dad and as somebody that's been along watching you, that's the funny thing where sometimes I don't even want to point out what I'm noticing because I don't want you to think that I thought that you didn't look good before but some of the things that you've done that have so impressed me are honestly, we go out to eat a fair amount as a family, maybe too much. And then we moved to a new land and we're trying out the new restaurants and all that stuff. And you don't cheat.
I know.
It's wild to me. And I just want to know, did you know you would be successful at doing this weight loss journey? Okay.
Because I've been trying to, okay. I feel like we're jumping around.
Totally.
So I don't even know. Okay. So basically I have an autoimmune disease called Hashimoto's, and that led to hypothyroidism. And so that's what I got diagnosed with a couple months ago. And prior to getting diagnosed, I seriously feel like it was 2 or 3 years where I was just very steadily gaining weight.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter, like,
you're still trying to work out and stuff.
Like obviously I could have been eating better and working out more or different or whatever, but I genuinely was working out 5 times a week, probably. And I was eating decent. Like I wasn't eating crazy or anything. And I could not lose the weight. Or if I did, I'd lose 2 pounds and then
plateau.
Give it a week or two and I back up those pounds and their friends. And I'm like,
and that feel like it would break Mom and I's heart because you would get so frustrated.
Frustrating because I was like, I'm doing the work and I'm just gaining weight and I didn't feel like myself. And I was so tired all the time. Like, I don't know how much we've talked. I could not get through the day without at least a nap.
I know you, when you come home and stuff, you would nap a lot.
Hours. I genuinely.
Like all day sometimes.
And I was just, no matter what, if I slept for 2 hours or 12.
I didn't put that part together.
I was so tired and it was so frustrating because I didn't know what to do about it. And I felt like I had no options because I don't drink caffeine because it triggers my anxiety like crazy. And so I just felt I don't know what to do. And I was like, why is this happening to me? Why does everybody else function? And I cannot do that. And then I also tied a lot of those things. I was like, it must just be like my depression. That's why I can't get out of bed. That's why I'm so tired. And so I kind of just overlooked the fatigue part of it.
Man.
And then I had a lot of other like random little symptoms, but nothing that was
some throat stuff. And I mean,
so many things.
Yeah.
And nothing that was like, I need to go to the doctor right now. But a lot of things where I just didn't feel good. I never felt good ever for years.
Yeah.
But I just got to a point where I was like, I guess this is
how I feel.
Yeah. Like, this is it. And so anyways, then went to a freaking gynecology appointment.
I would say, I don't remember what. Okay.
Like, for the first time in my life, because you have to when you are a lady.
I still don't really know what those are, but don't talk about it. No. Okay. Go ahead.
But anyways, and I just like figured I'd throw it out there. And I just told my doctor, like, I've had a really hard time with weight gain and I'm tired all the time and blah, blah. And she immediately was like, oh, let's check your thyroid. And I was like, wow, it's not going to do anything. Like, because at that point I was so convinced I was just doing everything wrong. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't working hard enough and whatever. So anyway, she checked my thyroid and immediately was like, your numbers are crazy. This is not normal. Get on these medications, do these things. And long story short, then after so many doctors, like I went to more doctor's appointments in the span of a month than I did my entire life, genuinely.
I have a funny bit here though to work
Okay.
in.
I'm ready
So
for it.
I remember when you called about that and we were like, oh my gosh, it sounds so bad and serious and stuff. And your mom and I had just gone down not too long ago, and Alex was getting her graduating from like radiology school.
Mhm.
And so the thing that she could check was our thyroids.
Yeah.
And I don't remember this funny part, but she told me my thyroid could be like a thyroid model in a textbook. And
Yeah,
you're
go
telling
ahead.
me
Keep
yours
talking
is
about it.
like, yours is,
Mine's
then-
disintegrating.
well, and
Mine's
right. And
disintegrating.
one of Alex's friends was there and they showed us
Numbers
hers.
on it.
Well, and we saw that, and it's like she saw mine. I didn't even know what thyroid was, and it's like, oh well, apparently that's a good one.
Yeah.
And then she's like, yeah, look at my friends, and then it was like just shredded
Yes.
pieces
And
of
her friend,
whatever.
that is what I have. That disease. And
That
so,
was
like,
crazy.
realistically, by the time I'm 30, I like won't really have a thyroid.
I'm ready to donate mine.
Not how it works.
No.
But that's so kind of
Thank you.
But anyways, so we'll touch on that, but also
Okay.
focusing more on the losing the weight and prioritizing
Yeah.
health and just like how that's gone. But because the thing is, like we said in the other episode we did, you are exactly enough as you are
Yeah.
at any size,
For
no
sure.
matter what. Like genuinely, that is so true, and I believe that
Yeah.
wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And losing weight will not solve all your problems. I know it feels like it will
Yeah.
for people that struggle,
Right?
but it won't solve all your problems. And it's important, I think, to love yourself at every stage of being human and what that means for your body and everything.
And you were trying. I mean, I think you were doing a good job of where you were at, though. Trying to.
Yeah.
That was the whole reason we did the episode.
Right?
Yeah.
Like just trying to love myself the way that I was, even though I didn't feel great.
Yeah.
Because I was enough.
Yeah.
55 pounds ago, and I'm still enough right now, and I will be enough if I gained it all back.
Yeah.
You know, and that I still believe that, and that's true.
Yeah.
But in this whole thing for me, I feel like I've learned that wanting to be healthy and take care of your body is totally a good thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's such a good thing, and you're allowed to make changes for your body, and you're allowed to want to be healthier. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, or maybe it's more being a girl thing, or maybe you'll feel it too, but it's like I do feel like there's weird, I guess, stigmas almost just around anything you talk about body-wise.
Oh, for sure.
Like it's almost shifted. I feel like on TikTok and stuff I see, like if girls are promoting losing weight or working out or eating healthy, people attack them a little bit. And it's like, you shouldn't be telling people they have to do this, or you shouldn't whatever. And it's like, I get what you're saying if you're going way to the extremes, but you're allowed to want to be healthy.
And so people
Essentially,
want to, they can find people that can help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Those
and
people
it's
aren't
worth
evil.
No.
Yeah.
And it's okay to like do the things
Yeah.
to take care of your body. And it's not all bad. So I feel like that's just an interesting thing. And so it has been weird and like vulnerable to post about weight loss, because I fear that people will think I'm saying like,
Yeah.
like you almost post things and then people think you're looking down on other people.
Right. Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not. You're perfect the way you are.
Yeah.
This is just my experience.
Yeah.
And this is
I like that.
whatever. Because the thing is, I feel better. Like looks aside,
Yeah.
I feel better.
And can you like quantify that, or because I think sometimes, and was that process so gradual that it was difficult to tell along the way, or pretty quickly did you start feeling better, or how can you like, how do you, I know that you know it, but how do you?
Yeah, I feel like it seriously was a couple weeks, and it was like, I just started to feel, I think one of the questions someone asked was about like my relationship with food.
Okay.
And how that's changed.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that.
Yeah.
I did not know how gross I felt because I was so used to it.
Talk about that, because when you told me that, I used that with some clients, and
Yeah.
there wasn't a person I don't think that didn't that didn't resonate with.
Yeah, it was so interesting because I changed my entire diet. Like
You really did.
completely changed it, which we can get into more of that. But I completely changed what I was eating and like what I'm putting into my body and how much water I'm drinking and like,
Yeah.
all the little things that have to do with diet. And I don't feel gross anymore. If I do, I was telling you the other day, I was like, I'm just gonna get Taco Bell because like
Right. You did it
It
one
sounds good.
time.
within 10 minutes, I was so miserable.
Man.
Like, I was so uncomfortable. I was just like, this feels awful. And that's what I felt like all the time because I was just not eating good things for my body.
Yeah.
And so I don't even remember what you asked, but I feel like
Well, is there like how's it quantifiable? So that's a easy when you just
like there
don't
are
feel gross.
physical things that I feel. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I feel different. Little dumb things, tying my shoes, so much easier.
Okay. Yeah.
Like shaving my legs, so much easier.
Yeah.
Wiping my butt,
Okay.
easier.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah. Like
Easier to move my body.
I still want to get a bidet though.
Live your dream.
Okay.
You love bidets.
I do. Hey, but all those little things though, I appreciate that so much.
So many little things.
And then what was wild to me was, and I think I saw one of the questions where somebody asked about, did you go cold turkey with the food? And talk about that.
I kind of did.
You did. And I was so blown away.
More so out of fear though. I
I see.
so afraid of what was happening to my body.
Yeah.
That I was like, I need to change something right now or I'm going to die, which wasn't true, but that's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah. What's wild though, is I've worked with enough people though, where they say that, oh yeah, if that would happen, then I would change, and they don't.
Yeah.
So that's why I think in the back of my mind, I was still.
Did it for me.
Yeah.
Because I've been trying to lose weight for 3 years or whatever. And then that was enough. But yeah, like just overall, I think prioritizing my health and taking care of myself has been such a good reminder that we only get one body.
Yeah.
Like we have one body. This is the thing that carries us through this life.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously there are things that are out of our control, but you have a decent say in a lot of aspects of how you're going to feel day to day and what your body's going to look like and how it's going to feel and how it's going to function. And so it's like, why would you not take care of it?
Yeah.
Why would you not put in the effort because you're worth that effort, you know?
I think so. I mean, I do. I was talking with a client just a couple of weeks ago that they just turned 40 and they were talking about how, well, now it's all downhill. And I just want to say, hey, I'm right here in front of you. And I'm like 14 years older than you. And I refuse to stop trying.
It doesn't have to.
It doesn't.
Again, I know things are out of our control, but it doesn't have to just be this awful thing. And I do think to some extent I had kind of given up in that way where I was like, this is just what it is. I'm never going to like my body again. I'm never going to feel like I was just kind of like, I've tried. Like, that's it. So I don't know. But
that cold turkey vibe though it was noticeable too right away. And you when you moved out here, you came home for a little bit in California and then just started to really try to get yourself put together, I guess, in a sense.
And I'd been on medication for a little bit there to stabilize thyroid stuff. Yeah. Which I think did something.
And then moved out here to Arizona, and I feel like you've done an amazing job of just making it your almost like a part-time job it is, right?
Daily routine.
Getting sleep and eating right and hydrating and exercise, a lot of exercise and all that. So I'm sure we'll talk about that too.
Yeah. But anyways, all of that, basically it's okay to want to take care of your body. And I think it's okay to admit that you want to feel good and look good. I think that's fair.
And I think what you're saying too, that I'm a big no shame therapist person. So I just want to, I like giving people permission that it's okay to really want it. Yeah. And then also you're really the only person that knows deep inside, this is not meaning to sound shameful, of if you are showing up as your best self. And I think that's where I work with plenty of people that it's pretty liberating when they can finally admit to themselves that if this is the case where they're saying, I know I'm not giving it my best effort. Yeah. Yeah.
Side note.
Yeah.
One of the Peloton instructors that I really like always says a thing where she says, I'm not going to tell you to like be your best self right now. I'm going to tell you to be your favorite self. And there's some stuff that I love.
Yeah.
And then she's like, if I ask you what your best self looks like, you probably don't really know exactly what that is. But if I ask you what your favorite ice cream flavor is or your favorite, like all these little things, you have an answer. And so you can prioritize just wanting to be your favorite version of you because you know what that feels like.
I don't want to hijack this episode at all, but I have to tell you, I'm 2/3 of the way through. I'm doing an episode on the virtual couch about your reflected sense of self. And I traced it back to this psychologist back in the early 1900s. And he talks about this looking glass self. And I'll just go through this because I think it's so interesting what you just said. It's this guy named Cooley. And so he said, the looking glass self is the process through which people develop their self-concept based on their understanding of how others perceive them. And the process is 3 components. 1 is imagining how we appear to others. So we contemplate how we think we are seen by others. 2 is in imagining the judgment of that appearance. So we imagine how others are judging us based on our appearance or behavior of what we think that people think we're doing. And then the third one is then we develop feelings around ourselves based on these judgments. So we assume that we know what other people see in us. Then we imagine how they're judging us based off of what we think that they see. And then our feelings follow based on the judgments, based on what we think that. So I just said there's so many variables there that are so getting in the way of who you really are.
Just so
It's
crazy.
wild. Yeah.
It shouldn't have to be like that.
So then it says, yeah, it suggests our self-esteem and self-worth are influenced by how we believe others view us. And I was just saying that's normal, but I think having a healthy understanding of that's the process that we go through helps you then untangle yourself from that process. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a segue for this, but I don't have one. But read a little thing. I don't know who it's by, but just it said, you are more than just a body. You are a soul. Nourish both.
Mm.
And that to me was like, I feel like that embodies everything that I'm trying to say here, like the point I'm trying to make, because I think that that's it. And I think it is like a balance that you are more than just your body, but your body is what carries your soul.
I say they work together pretty well.
And I think you need to nourish both. Because your soul is everything. Like your soul, that is who you are. That is the big thing. But your body is what carries
it's the vessel that carries it. It really is.
It safe and allows it to be exactly what it is. And so I think in nourishing our soul, we have to care for our body, and through nourishing our body, we are caring for our soul.
Yeah.
So I do think it is like hand in hand. I don't think you can just do one and like be fine.
Plus, I've noticed you've been reading more. I don't know if you've been meditating.
I have.
Okay, good for you.
I'm going to reduce my stress levels.
Okay.
But yeah, so I just feel like it's all tied together, and I feel like I felt that so strongly through the last couple months because it has been more than just exercising.
Right.
And being different. It is like way deeper than that. But yeah. So those are some of my takes.
I dig it. What's been the hardest thing food-wise, honestly?
Well, okay, that's the kind of the funny thing, because I went gluten-free.
Yeah.
And then I'm on like a low acid diet.
I know you even drink water that
I drink alkaline water.
Yeah, which I still don't understand.
pH something. I don't know.
Sure.
But the thing that I've been shocked by is that the longer it's been since I've had certain foods, the less I want them. Like, I really thought there'd be a time that I would never be able to go without Taco Bell.
Yeah.
And I don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
No offense to Mr. Bell. He did you right for a long time.
For so long, but I just don't want it, and I don't crave foods like that anymore. Which is weird, because I feel like people are lying when they say that.
I was going to say, can I just float this out there?
Soda. I don't.
Yeah, you haven't in a long time.
I occasionally am like, I could go for some, and then if I drink it burns. And I'm like, this isn't fun anymore.
It's not that good burn that I like. No.
So that's been interesting.
Well, then also I come from this place of what do we do with our discomfort? And so it's uncomfortable to, I think even the time you spend meal prepping is, I think, one of the reasons why people just go to fast food
it's a lot.
And you have been so patient with that. And I don't understand where that comes from.
It's fear.
Okay.
It's not like, are you motivated? Or
yes.
Scared.
Because I'm sitting there like
terrified.
Getting whatever, and then you're cutting up your potatoes. And a couple times you've made me, I really like when you make me like the chicken and avocado or potato thing. And you're like, oh yeah, it'll be ready in about 45 minutes. I'm like, okay, I'm good. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. I think I just have the question.
Let's do it.
Should we speed run that?
Yeah.
Okay. Lots of people wondering what the autoimmune disease is.
Yeah.
Hashimoto's thyroid related.
And I don't know enough about it.
It's basically with any autoimmune disease, your body is attacking itself, essentially. So for whatever reason, my body has decided that my thyroid is an intruder.
Okay.
And is sending antibodies to attack it.
So like your white blood cell count was up for no reason or something like that.
Just weird things. Because it's just like attacking my thyroid, even though my thyroid's just chilling.
Yeah, I say not cool, body. Yeah.
And so then because of that, my thyroid has become underactive. So it doesn't produce enough of what it's supposed to. And I don't know if you knew this, but the thyroid kind of runs like the whole show.
So I only learned that in my therapy world, where a hyper and hypo is underperforming. Like you just said, hyper is over, and hyper can almost mimic symptoms of anxiety and ADHD, and hypo can be depressive, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And so it's just, literally, your thyroid is connected to seriously basically every system in the body.
Oh.
Like your heart and your lungs and your nervous system, like both, like seriously, all of it. It's deeply connected. And so if your thyroid is not functioning the way that it's supposed to, it affects so many things, like so many random things, like how you tolerate temperatures and like just so like bizarre things that you would not think it affects
Yeah.
because it's just this little thing and like sitting in your throat. So it doesn't seem like it's
No, that would right.
that big
I
of a
just,
deal.
I,
You don't know much about it if you're
no,
not, if it's not broken.
I just say, can you explain Hashimoto's disorder to someone with a middle school level of education to go to my best friend, ChatGPT? So this will be interesting. It says, sure, Hashimoto's disorder, also known as Hashimoto's thyroiditis, is a condition where the body's immune system mistakenly attacks the thyroid gland. The thyroid is a small butterfly-shaped gland in your
Mine
neck.
is not small
No.
anymore.
And it
Mhm.
makes hormones that help control many important functions in your body, like your metabolism, how your body uses
Weight
energy,
gain.
growth, and development. When somebody has Hashimoto's, their immune system thinks the thyroid is a threat and attacks it. This can damage the thyroid and make it produce fewer hormones. When the thyroid doesn't make enough hormones, it can cause symptoms like feeling very tired, gaining weight, having dry skin, feeling cold even when others are warm, and feeling sad or depressed. Wow.
I nailed it.
You did.
I was really scared you were going to read it.
I know, right?
Easy.
No, it's so, yeah, it's so wild,
Yeah.
Mac.
And then there's just a million little symptoms that you would never even know are tied to it. And it's just crazy. So that's what I deal with. And and your numbers can fluctuate a lot, which sucks. Like even on a medication, they can go up and down.
Do you know what impacts that?
No, honestly,
Okay.
I don't know the nitty gritty things. But yeah, so that's what I have.
Hey, Mac, do you want to see what's fun? I said, can you give me a limerick about a girl named Mackie who has this? There once was a girl named Mackie whose thyroid was feeling quite wacky. Her hormones ran low, but with meds in tow, she's now full of energy, not slacky.
I mean, amen.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay, next one. How did you know something was wrong and needed to get yourself checked
Yeah.
up on? Which this one I have a few thoughts on because now that I'm like, I should have just gone to the doctor sooner when I.
Mom and I told you like all the time. Oh, we didn't. Oh, okay.
No, you never did.
I bet we did it once or twice.
You never did. But I think that I just like, side note, I think if you feel like you are
Yeah.
not yourself and that something is off and something is wrong, you are worth like
Go
fighting
get it checked
doctors on
out.
that and like
Yeah.
getting the answers because there is a chance that there is something wrong. So get the thing.
I don't know if I told you, Mac, but in grad school, whenever you would do with role play for what am I? Therapist? It was always like you would get points knocked off if you first didn't say to the pretend person, hey, have you had when's your last medical checkup? And
That's crazy
it
because I've been dealing
is.
with anxiety and depression since I was 14 and I've never had a doctor say, let's like check your hormone level.
I know.
Like let's check something.
So even just
They're all
since you,
wonky.
well, yeah, since you've had this happen, I've learned about what is perimenopause and that's about hormones. Yeah, and then the thyroid stuff, and so
It's so real. It affects you.
or PMDD. There's all kinds of and because I think they're kind of all hormone. Oh, did you see that?
You almost died.
Okay, that was that. Okay, please go watch the YouTube video, everybody. That was a setup just so that people would watch the YouTube video. No, actually, what's kind of cool is my adrenaline's not even. There's your meditation for you. I caught that.
Because normally if a balloon pops, you.
Oh yeah, balloons are still gonna
So.
freak me out. Yeah, balloons and large dogs. But boy, microphones.
Dying.
That was crazy though.
That was kind of a lot.
Thank you. Please go. We won't even tell you. Go watch the YouTube video. Okay.
Is that what we're talking
Uh,
about? Doctor. Just
yeah.
if you think something's wrong.
Here, can you hold my microphone? I'll put this back on.
But I knew something was off, but I didn't really like even listen to myself, which sucks. So listen to yourself.
Did you ever? No. How would you have known it would be anything like this? Hormones or
that's
yeah.
the thing. I seriously just assumed I wasn't doing the work right. Like that's where my mind went. Which is silly.
Well, and I think what's unfair, honestly, Mac, and I'm not trying to say that we would sit there, Mom and I'd be like, she's not really doing the work, but it's like you feel so bad that you want to, even as a parent, you want to say something like, "Hey, are you for sure?" Because it's like I see the work you're doing, so you must not be in the times
Right.
that I don't see you.
Right. And I was like, I'm doing it. Like
Yeah.
I'm doing the things. So that
Well,
was always
okay.
frustrating. And I wanted to, when I got diagnosed, I seriously wanted to like broadcast it to everyone
Yeah.
in my life, even though nobody would actually, it doesn't matter. But I seriously want to be like, it made me want to go, you guys, it was my thyroid. I was doing the work. Like I told you guys, I
Well-
was working out. I was eating good. Like
Well, full transparency though, weren't you saying though that you got to a point, like maybe as you got feeling worse, that you would just like eat one meal a day and stuff like
Yeah.
that? Okay. So like,
super unhealthy. Like,
but that was like after
wasted
you already
it.
felt like I'm not,
yeah,
it doesn't matter what I do?
Yeah.
Okay. Because for a long time you
Ups and
would
downs
start
of
doing,
giving up
yeah,
and
exactly. Yeah.
giving up and then trying hard.
Yeah.
But when I was saying I was doing the work, I was doing the work.
Yeah.
And
Well,
nothing was
you
happening.
kept exercising throughout the whole thing. And,
Yeah.
and it's funny because that's in my mind, it says, well, as long as you exercise, you'll be fine.
Right. And, it's
And so that's why I felt bad. Yeah, for real.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. How long did it take to get my diagnosis? I mean, all in all, it was probably like 2 months.
Uh-huh.
Like it was immediately like you have hypothyroidism, but then it was a little bit later, more blood work that then was
Well, the acid thing, that thing you have is a whole different thing, right?
possibly. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't know.
Okay.
Not sure. Okay, how's your life easier and how is it harder since getting your diagnosis? Easier because answers.
Yeah.
It is good to have answers. Like I was able to say that even when I first got diagnosed.
Yeah.
Even when I was like miserable and it was awful and I was so scared and I was like, I don't know what to do with this information. And like just overwhelmed with all of it. I was like, okay, there's an answer. Like that is why
Yeah.
these things are happening. And easier because then it opened up all these doors of like, here are things you can actually do about it.
Yeah.
But in that same breath, that is how it's gotten harder because I've then had to do the thing.
You did, and you kept doing. I can't
But
tell you
to do them. Like I've had to put in that work, and so that because I know if I don't, I know what will happen, and so I have to put in the work.
I think about even just the simple thing, like my favorite bar, which they would sponsor, is Nugo bars.
Yeah.
And they're like it seems like they're everything in them is wholesome and wonderful, and you eat the ones that don't have chocolate. And I know I feel like every time I say, well, Mac, they're like so good though for you. I'm sure you could sneak one of these bad boys in, and you have resisted. You don't do chocolate.
No, I can't. I'm not.
Gosh, I don't get it.
Okay, then how did you start? Did you just change and go cold turkey?
Okay.
So yeah, kind of I did. Which I know is difficult because if you're not in a position where you're scared of like medical things
for real, Mac,
and you don't have that motivation, it's like I truthfully don't know what to say to be like,
yeah,
just do it. Like it's gonna be great, do it. But it's worth.
And I don't want to sound like
I
don't want to sound dismissive to anybody, but again, from my therapist chair, I would call it like the scared straight theory. So
that's literally what it is.
Yeah.
Like, that's what happens.
And I think it's got a runway or shelf life. Like I'll have people get caught. I mean, honestly, by police or something with stuff that they shouldn't, or you name it. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, they say I will never do it again. And they really mean it. But then it's like, once that like, initial scared straight wears off. So then I think one of the big keys is once you're scared, then you have to actually put in the work. Cause if you just say, I'll never do it again, all you're doing is alleviating your discomfort, but it's then taking the effort to change that is the key.
Right.
And you jumped right in and did that.
Consistent. And so I made like a lot of little changes right at the start because I was so overwhelmed with everything. But I did like just started drinking more water. I stopped drinking soda. I changed my meals like immediately. I stopped eating out for the most part. Like started cooking things.
Started cooking a lot. Oh, you baked. How many things have you baked that you have not enjoyed? Honestly, like your trial and error is amazing.
Yeah. I went gluten-free, and so I've tried to make so many gluten-free things, and
I've been so impressed with you though doing that.
I just like immediately started trying things, and I did try to like kind of make it fun.
Yeah.
And make it like, okay, I get to like learn these things, and I get to.
And you tried so many
in the kitchen, and I get to like do these things, and that I think made a difference. But so it's like, yes, I did go cold turkey, but I know that that's not the most realistic thing. But I do think the little changes are because it is making lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
Like it's not just doing something for a month and then being done with it. It's being so consistent.
Okay. And then I can't say this enough, but that is the concept of if you're just doing it to alleviate your discomfort, it will not last.
It's not, no.
But if
it has to be like this rooted desire.
It really does.
changes and feel better.
And so then even when you're doing it and now all of a sudden I don't want to do it anymore, there's the discomfort. So now I have to, growth comes through that discomfort.
Well, because I've kind of hit a point the last like 2 weeks where I do not want to work out. I don't want to do it. I'm over it. I hate it. I'm like just in a little rut with it, and I don't want to do it. But I show up and I do it anyway.
You did. We were gym buddies yesterday in the garage gym, and you still did like an hour on the treadmill or whatever.
You know the 5-minute rule?
No.
It's just this little thing.
It's like you drop something on the ground. You got 5 minutes before you need it. Thought it was seconds, but okay.
We changed it to 5 minutes.
Okay.
No, it's just if there's ever anything you don't want to do, just commit to 5 minutes.
Oh, I like that.
Like, just get on the treadmill for 5 minutes, and genuinely, if after 5 minutes you are so done, you can get off. But 90% of the time, you're gonna keep going.
Yeah. Back in my ultra running days, you had like a just 1 more mile rule.
Okay, yeah.
And it was like even if you had to walk another mile, then before you know it, you're 5, 6, 7 more down the road.
Yeah.
And
So that's
interesting.
Even like cooking things too, like just to be like, okay, just start, and probably in 5 minutes you'll be like, fine.
That's a great rule.
It's a great rule. It's really helpful when you don't have motivation. You don't want to do things. Okay, best way to bring down inflammation in the body, where to start losing weight. Hashimoto's is all about inflammation. Your whole body is inflamed basically, and that's a big part of why you're supposed to cut out gluten and why I have cut out gluten.
You've said that alone you think has just been a game changer.
Your bodies like don't know how to process.
I've heard of that,
it's
but
kind of like dairy. Like,
why is it so yummy though?
You don't. I can't have it, dude.
I know.
But so that cutting out gluten, seriously, like, I mean, within 2 weeks of doing that, like my weight had changed. Like I wasn't bloated. I wasn't like all these things. I just felt a lot better.
That bloated thing, I mean, I know that feeling.
Yes. And that for me, gluten and dairy, 100%. So cutting those things out is great for that. And just, even if you do that initially,
I think so.
You start feeling better, and then you're a little bit more motivated, I think, to keep doing the things. And then you start to lose the weight, and then you're like, this is kind of fun, seeing the results. And then you want to keep going.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start losing weight. I don't know if that means literally where, because if you mean literally where, you cannot spot reduce.
Right. That's true.
Which I do think is important if you're trying to like make changes in your body. It's important to know you can't pick and choose.
Yeah. I was saying, and I know that I've heard that is frustrating for some people because
you're like, I want my arms to be smaller. Just my butt's disappearing in a bit. Kind of a bummer, but you just start and it falls off where it wants to. Did you use a certain program for exercise and eating? Peloton through and through. We are Peloton.
We are family. We have the treadmill, the rower, and the bike, and then we do the outdoor. We do all the workouts on the apps. You don't even need the thing. Yeah, you just. I do the meditation through it. Yeah,
that has changed my life. I literally use Peloton every single day.
Yeah.
That has been the most motivating thing as far as like exercising goes.
Friends on Peloton?
I don't think we are.
Why is that?
I don't think we are.
I think I've probably tried to friend you like 1,000 times.
That's so not true. Don't gaslight me right now. But then eating, no, didn't do it.
Do you do the weight tracker? Do you do the calorie app thing?
Kind of against that.
Okay.
I think it's unhealthy.
I had a fun new bit with that because, Mom's does it every single day. And
I do have like, I did it for a little bit, and I do feel like I got a good idea of
it helps.
This is how many calories these things are.
Yeah.
And then moving forward, I just was like mindful of that, but I don't log them.
Yeah.
I do use that app that lose it. I use it just to track my weight. Because it gives you fun graphics every time you lose 5 pounds.
Oh, I do not know that about the app.
Where it said I lost 5 bowling balls.
Oh, no, I'm saying I've never experienced that. Thank you. And every time I start it up again, every couple of weeks, it's like, you again?
I think we're doing it.
It does. And it's funny because it kind of semi-shames you. It's like, so do you want to try anything new, or are you going to pretend that like the other stuff will work? And I was like, no, I think the other stuff will still work.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So I've used
But it said you lost 5 bowling balls.
Bowling balls. It gives you fun little things like that.
Which is crazy. Like, think about running. I think about that all the time with you because your times are kind of getting back down to
55-pound backpack on.
No.
That was my life.
Isn't that crazy?
It really is.
Well, I think I told you, one of my friends who is a doctor, and I was talking about losing weight to help my meniscus problem.
Yeah.
And he had said that every pound was it 4 pounds of pressure?
Yeah.
So so like when you were at 50 at that point, and so it was like 200 pounds of pressure per.
These don't really bother me anymore.
That's pretty wild, for real, because you used to have some of that pain.
So I would limp around after I.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, she's making that up,
You were. No, you're making yours up, okay?
Okay.
Start that.
I wasn't really.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Did you find meditation helpful? 100%. I don't do it enough. Actually, this could be a whole episode probably, but I realized something with meditation that I need you to
Okay.
therapize
I
me.
will.
I'm really bad at being consistent. I'm really bad at meditating when I feel good. I typically only meditate when I'm in full blown panic mode.
Yeah.
So I think I've associated it with being
Yeah.
panicked. And so if I feel good and I meditate, I get scared.
That is so it's
What
normal.
do I do?
It's so it will shockingly just to do it every day.
Keep doing it.
Yeah.
follow
And
through.
it's funny that meditation app, when I look on the Peloton app, or not meditation app, the Peloton app, it was wild how quickly that one, if I look, I think I'm at now 400 meditations. And that was within a year, because once you really start doing it, I mean, if I have 5 extra minutes, I want to do it when I'm feeling good. And so that's why, so we form these like relational frames. So it's like anxiety, meditate, feel good, don't. And that is the time to do it, because that's what I was saying
To
earlier of
reframe.
when, yeah, because when we feel like, when I feel bad and I want to alleviate my discomfort, then I will meditate. That's great. But then once my discomfort is gone, then I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't need to worry about it. And that is when I have my men's group tonight that we did this Wednesday nights, and it's for people that are struggling with turning to unhealthy coping mechanisms. And I will often say that it's that story of, this is the last time I'm ever going to do it, act out or whatever. And the person, I believe, in that moment believes it. So then they feel like, okay, no, I'm good. And so then they wake up the next day and they're like, I don't have to do anything different because I get it now. Like, I'm good.
Changed.
And I do that. And, people do that over and over and over again. And people do it in couples relationships as a couples therapist, where they fight, they withdraw, somebody pops their head back out and says, hey, are we good? And the person's like, yeah, because we want to alleviate our discomfort. And then once they're like, okay, cool. And then they come in and say to me in therapy, no, we're good. We're okay now. And that's where I started saying the absence of bad does not mean good. And so that concept is, when we feel better, we think, no, I'm really, and we believe it, like I'm good.
Yeah.
So that's where I think the meditation, even if, and the Peloton has little 5-minute ones. So it's like, even if you just do that every day, because you're trying to create a new relational frame, that it's like, I do it daily. I mean, this morning I get back from my run, and the first thing I do is I go out there and I meditate outside, which has been phenomenal.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I'll usually try to throw a little one in the middle of the day. And then last night I did one before I went to bed. I mean, it's amazing, Mac.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I do. I really do think it helps. And not even, obviously I'm not great at it, but I do it sometimes. But even just like, I will just do little breathing like
Yeah.
we saw
Okay.
this on the live last, where I just do my in for 4, hold out.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'll do that even if it's just for like a minute,
Yeah.
but just trying to ground myself a little bit. And I think lowering your stress levels and your anxiety levels, not fixes, but
It gives you the pause and allows you to, yeah.
Yeah.
And we
It
talked
allows
about
you to
that.
show up better in
Yeah.
the other ways.
On the live, I think we were talking about, by the way, Mackie joined me on a TikTok live to
Mhm.
10,000 of our friends. And we'll be doing that again. Probably this won't go out until after we've done it again, but then we'll do another one. I think maybe Sunday night when people get this, maybe. But I think give me 30 seconds to say that meditation, I want to say this every single time, is not about stopping your thoughts. It's not about clearing your mind. It's about changing your relationship with thoughts. So when you are thinking and ruminating and worrying and wondering, and then you do some in through the nose, out through the mouth breathing. And then at that point, then when you stop doing that, your brain will go right back to thinking and ruminating and worrying. And then you come back to the breathing and the present. And it is that doing that over and over again, your brain starts to, because your emotions travel, some believe, 2.5 times faster than your logic. So you're having this like emotional reaction, and then you're thinking about things. So what you're doing with meditation is you're learning to lower your resting heart rate, which allows you to have more of a pause before your heart rate elevates. If your heart rate elevates, your cortisol levels spike, and then you get into that amygdala hijack. And so if you aren't meditating, you aren't sleeping, you aren't hydrating, you aren't exercising, then your startle response, so to speak, is like right on the edge. So then it can be the smallest thing, and your heart rate just elevates, and your cortisol floods your brain, and you go right into fight or flight. So the daily meditation, the daily mindfulness practice is absolutely about, over time, lowering your resting heart rate, and then training your body that as soon as your heart rate starts to elevate, you're going to, you square off your shoulders, you get grounded. And it's like you will do that without even knowing you're doing it. So that's the goal, if that makes sense.
Well, side note,
Yeah.
My heart rate a couple months ago was sitting steady between 70 and 80
Okay.
all the time because I was so anxious and so on edge and so not well.
Yeah.
And now I sit at about a 55.
Okay. I'm about 56, 57. And then when I'm doing the meditating, yeah, that's the ultimate goal. This morning I got back from a run. And so I was like, oh, because it was 100 million degrees here at 8 or 4 in the morning. And so my goal now has been to try to see how low I can get my heart rate right after a run in the heat. And that's a fun game to play versus the should I meditate, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the little things. And like you're saying, where it is like, it's your sleep and it's like your water intake and like all these little things, they do make a big difference. And it's hard to see that initially, but if you stick with it, you will notice that like you are feeling better and things are okay and all that. Okay, I feel like already, how did you find motivation to start? Fear. Absolutely terrified. Did you have help to lose the weight? Like a shot or a pill, anything like that?
Oh, no. I say your dad's motivation.
My dad motivated me.
No. Did you think about though? I mean, I remember wanting to even bring up to you some of those.
My diagnosis, I was about at the point where I was like, I need intervention here. Like I need something to happen here because nothing's changing. I will say though, I do need to give credit to my thyroid medication because I do think that's what's helped my metabolism be more normal.
Gotcha.
Where then obviously I'm working out more and I've changed my diet completely, but I do think part of like I feel like I have to say that to anyone that knows because I'm like, it's not like, yes, you can do the things, and turns out if the things in your body are balanced, it really is less calories, more movement. That really is the formula. Like genuinely, it's as simple as that, even though it's hard to say that when you're doing that. It feels like nothing's happening. But if the other things are balanced, so it's like once I got my thyroid a little bit more balanced, it really did come down to
calorie in, calorie out and some movement.
Literally. It's like, that's as simple as it was. Okay, we already kind of talked about food, relationship changing. We're basically genuinely, food to me now is like, it's fuel.
I would love that.
Like there's still times where I'm like, I would really want that. And I let myself have certain things, like moderation, whatever. But I do think you shouldn't restrict things. I think that's where I've had to make gluten-free options and do silly things like that. But I think you should eat what you want to eat still. Any advice for someone consistently working out but not disciplined with diet? Which unfortunately, I feel like you have to be disciplined.
I know. I was going to say, I will tell this person the good news is you're working out, but the reality is there has to be an acceptance that, okay, now that I have this base of working out, that now I need to slowly move into diet. And I'm not one that is good at this. I'm an ultra runner for 25 years. So as long as you run a dozen miles a day, you can eat whatever you want. But now that I'm not running at a dozen miles, after 20 years, I ate bowl ice cream every single night.
Giant bowl of ice cream.
Oh, and some nights they would double down if I did like 15 miles or so, or 20 on a Saturday, but it's like, I think that one's one where I think it just give yourself grace, continue to give yourself props for exercise, and then slowly start to add in the diet. Yeah.
It's hard. It is hard, but I do think there is it's kind of the 80-20, 80 diet, 20 working out thing, and that there is truth to that, unfortunately.
Yeah, there is. The way they say abs are created in the kitchen. I hate that.
It sucks so bad, but there really is truth to that. So I do think that, but there are so many benefits to working out.
Yeah.
Where it's like, that's still a good thing. And you should still be proud of yourself, or even if that's all you're doing. Okay, we're almost done. How do you stay motivated? I feel like I do well for a while and then fizzle out, which that's what I was in a cycle of doing for so long. And I do feel like I've reached this level of like, there is a self-love that's staying in there that maybe we could even do a whole other type of thing on.
No, for real.
But I think that when you really look inward and view your worth and your value and like love your soul and who you are, you realize that you are so worth the effort.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge part of it, where again, like I'm saying, where it's like, even when I don't want to show up, I show up because I do care about myself.
Yeah.
And that does kind of help, I think. But I also think you should listen to your body. And there are days that I don't work out. Like there are days where I'm like, it's happening today, and that's okay.
I remember we were having a conversation when we were just hanging out at the pool that one day about, like, I was talking to you about the concept of being differentiated too, is that once I recognize that I don't need someone else to tell me I'm okay, that it's also a lot easier to stay grounded when people are maybe not treating you as kindly, or if people are trying to criticize you. And if you're good with yourself, then you're not even reacting saying, you can't say that or whatever. It's like, okay, those are words you're saying because I'm good.
Yeah.
And
So
so I think
really
that self-love thing is really important.
Yeah. And so I do feel like through this whole thing,
Yeah.
it's like I have had to look inward a lot and I have had to put in the time and spend a lot of time with myself
Yeah.
in doing that. And so I do just think that. But also, freaking Peloton. The Peloton instructors,
I love it. Yeah.
they're
good.
good. They just say things that like a
Yes,
lot
you
of that.
can.
Yes, you can. But they say so many things like that and about like you are worth this effort. And,
Yeah.
like
No, I love it too. I do. I think it's so great. I do.
feel like I've heard it so many times now because of how many classes I've taken that I just is kind of, I'm like, yeah, I am.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's always like,
It
if you think you can't, you can.
Yeah, I can. And there's times that they go, you can. And I go, no, I can't.
Right.
And start crying. Okay, last question was, how do you keep staying positive with your diagnosis?
Is this the part you're talking about your dad?
Yeah. Let's see. Back when I was a kid. No, I think just I kind of said something about this in that post that I did, but just the like embracing, which is a lot of your acceptance stuff here.
Yeah.
Embracing the fact that you cannot control what life
Yeah.
at you.
Life's lifing all over you, Mac.
It will. It's gonna life crap out of you.
Yeah.
And like that can suck in a lot of ways, but it just is. And I think if you can accept that, then it's like, okay, I don't have a say in what life's gonna throw at me. I didn't have a say in getting this autoimmune disease,
Yeah.
but I have a say in how I'm gonna react.
Yeah. The exact
and the
words.
steps I'm gonna take and
Yes.
what's gonna come next. And that's what I've done. Like I have taken that because there is the thing where I feel like mom is the one that says or has talked to me about this, but like if you quit and you give up and you decide to just be negative and go in the corner and whatever, you know exactly what the outcome is.
Yep.
Every time. You know exactly what that's going to look like and feel like, and it sucks. But if you even try to like do something good with the situation, you open up all these doors and then there's room for all these possible outcomes that could be so good. And they're uncertain and you don't know, but it's better than the one you know.
Well, it's funny, and you're right. Moms, I don't. Now it's not like, well, I said,
You
right?
think so?
Oh no, I'm not.
Yeah.
But I remember when your cousin Connor was here, and we were sitting around on a Saturday, and it was actually mom saying, "Okay, let's go visit this like ghost town or whatever." Remember that?
Yeah.
And then yeah, because we were saying that if we sit here, even if we're not enjoying it,
Yeah.
we know what sitting around another Saturday at our house is going to feel like. But we didn't know what going to a cool ghost town and doing the zip line and
it was dope.
It was so fun. It really was. Yeah.
But yeah, so I just think like I think I've been able to, obviously I had my moments, like we didn't go, but I need to find that episode we recorded because we talked more about the initial parts of it and how awful the actual diagnosis was and how scary of a time in my life it was and how it was like actually horrible. But I think just, accept it, like kind of in that acceptance that it is what it is basically. And I get to choose if I want to be that person that hides behind it and lets it be my identity, or if I want to live the life I want to live regardless.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I think that we can take the setbacks that are thrown at us and we can let them crush us and we can be miserable or we can just try. And it's better to try.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to sound mean with it, but it's like that's where you have the choice.
Yeah. That is the choice right there. Yeah. But yeah, so then to kind of circle back, I guess, back to your body is the least interesting thing about you. Our bodies are so capable of changing and adjusting. And I think like as humans, we are so resilient, like by nature.
Real.
That's just how we work. We are made to adapt in our brain.
I was going to say I was saying the same thing, Mac.
And that's so real. And so it's like we are resilient and we bounce back and all the things. And so even though our bodies are the least interesting things about us and about who we are, they are really cool.
Yeah.
And they do a lot for us. And so it's okay to want to value that. And it's okay to put the time in to yourself to work on that and like work on yourself and be who you want to be, taking care of yourself, both mind and body, because you are worth the changes and you are worth the effort.
You are enough.
You are enough.
Can I ask you one more quick question?
Yeah.
So I remember having a friend of mine that had the weight loss surgery and he lost a ton of weight and I told him he looked good. And he's one of the first people that ever said, I appreciate that, but he said it makes me think that people didn't think I look good. Have you had any of those like when people say, okay, yeah.
Mostly, no. Mostly I'm just like, thank you for noticing.
Okay.
That feels good.
Yeah.
But there is still part of it.
Yeah.
And side note, I was telling mom about this. people are so shallow and gross because I'm not even kidding. For 2 years, people like didn't pay to like
I
stop.
was gonna say, Mac.
I get like
Oh,
at the grocery store and I got checked out by like mom was including it. Like
no, you did a Cafe Rio last night.
What?
Did you notice that? By all the firemen in front of you.
look at me, and
Yeah.
they didn't when I weighed
I
55.
noticed that too. Yeah.
It's just so wild because it's true. And
I
like,
wondered if you were noticing that.
oh, 100%. And people are nicer to me now than they like just strangers.
Yeah.
Wild. That's a whole other thing in itself. But anyways, your worth is still there regardless.
Thank
It's the
you.
bottom line, Tony,
Hey,
and nobody
Maggie.
else.
Thank you.
But
Okay,
yeah, your body's least to think about you, but it's still really cool.
okay, I was proud of you anyway, but I'm very proud of you now. More, but not more proud of you, but the same pride of you.
More proud of you, but I was kind of.
And you look the exact same, and you're normal. And see, okay, but are we back? Are we recording now forever, every single day again for the next few years?
We've never done that in our entire
Oh, okay.
lives.
How about weekly or every other week?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
We did it.
Hey, check us out on TikTok. Mackie's still fun, and Sid's in Switzerland for a month. So, but then when she comes back, you're taking her job, right?
No.
No.
But yeah, so go to the virtual couch
Yeah.
on TikTok.
At Virtual Couch on TikTok and at virtual.couch on the Instagram, because we want to start doing some more lives there too. And or Beauty by Mackie. And okay, have you seen this one? Okay, for those watching, do you know I know a new one on Zoom? Watch this. Get ready. It's a rave.
Oh my god.
Isn't that funny with a smoke machine and everything?
Okay. I hope that happens to you one time in therapy when
It
you're
has.
having a crazy.
That one
moment,
hasn't. That
though.
one hasn't. Today I did another one where,
We did.
yeah, but today I did another. I was doing something like this and I got the fireworks again. And that was really funny, because I mean, it was like with a guy that was ready for it. There's the fireworks. But the best ever, though, I know they are, but the best ever is like this one's just so subtle with this one right there. But I think it's so good. The balloons. Okay, Mackie, you're awesome. You are good. Okay, love you. Bye, everybody. Okay.
So much.
I don't even know.
You don't know what you don't know is what it's all about.